Hi friends, in this tutorial I am going to show you how to integrate Spring Security with Spring Boot application and how to perform auto login functionality. Auto login functionality means if user register, no need to ask login page, directly redirect to the user dashboard page. And also in this tutorial I am going to show you single login page need to redirect to based on roles different dashboards. For suppose, in this tutorial, I am taking three roles. One is the admin role, another one is the user role, and third one is the super admin. If super admin login, you need to redirect to super admin dashboard. If you user login as an admin, you need to redirect to the admin dashboard page. If user login as a user, you need to redirect to the user dashboard page. But I am using only single login page. How to perform that operations I will show you, and also I need to configure authentication failure. For suppose user enter wrong username or password is redirected to the login page. After login failure is redirected into the login error page. In that page, how to read username and password I will show you in this tutorial. First I am going to create Spring Boot application. How to create Spring Boot application? Go to Google, type Spring Initializer. You need to add what are the dependencies required to perform Spring Security application. I am going to add first app, web, second one security, third one JPA, fourth one DevTools, fifth one MySQL. Database I am using MySQL, and final I am using Remeleaf for UI purpose. Next I am going to add group name. Group name is nothing but a package name. I am giving com.springboot.security. Artifact name is nothing but a project name. I am given Spring Security. Click on generate project. It will generate Spring Boot application and download as a zip file. I am going to download location. Copy that folder. Place to somewhere. And extract here. Now I am going to import this project into my work location. I am taking for this demo. I am using STS. If you want, you can use any other ID also. Right click on Package Explorer. Click on Import. Choose existing Maven projects. Browse. Go to your project location. Click on Finish. My project is importing into my work location. project is imported successfully into my application. Now I am going to add application.properties. First I am going to add connections, MySQL connections. I configure in my application.properties what are the connections is required. I need to add here before I am going to create database. I have already one database, that is a Spring Security. For this demo purpose, I am using the Spring Security only. If you don't have any database, please create database. Right click, create schema. Here give your schema name. Click on apply. It will create. Now anyhow, I have the Spring Security. I am using that one only. I have already one table, that is a user table. Here I have two roles, admin is there, user is there, admin, user is there. Now I am going to change this one to super admin. Here I have three roles, one is the admin, another one is the user, and third one is the super admin. So now I am going to configure this database in my application.properties. How to configure? Now I am going to copy paste, go to Google, MySQL, Spring Boot application.properties. Click on first one. Take this properties file. These are the properties. Now I am going to add my DB name. My DB name is the Spring Security, and username is root. Password is also root. Here to everything there is no change any other things. Is the URL, username, password, DDL auto update, so SQL, so dialect, so application that properties ready. Now I am going to perform my controller logic first. First I am going to create controller. Control is login controller. Our system note this class is the controller means @controller. Now I am going to create one method. Before I am creating method, first I am going to create my Pozo class. Pozo class is nothing but a that class is related to database. That class I am going to create. I am placing dot model. Here user I am taking @entity @table name equal to my table name is user. Next I am going to create primary key. Next I am creating first name. Next I am going to create last name. Next I am going to create email. Next password. Next role. Next time take one boolean variable, that is enable. Enable ID, email, enable first name, last name, password, phone number. Next I am going to create phone number. Finally I am going to create a data. Create a data. Now I am going to create setters and getters. In AddyHTS shortcut is Alt Shift S and press R. Select all and click OK. Now the date is the util package. Now I am going to add database columns. ID is nothing but ID is generated as a primary key. At the rate generated value strategy is equal to auto at the rate column name equal to ID. Same thing. First name. These are the column names in database. Last name, email, password, role, enable, phone number, created date. Implement serializable. Now my poser class is ready. Now I am going to implement my controller logic. Here I am placing control inside. Now I am going to move that into controller. That's why I am creating package dot controller. This login controller I am moving to controller package. Now I'm going to create one method, public string login return null. Before I'm going to implement this method, first I'm going to create security logic, security configuration logic first. So now I'm going to create one more class, that is Spring Security. I'm going to create Spring Security configuration. Spring Security configuration is my security class. Now I'm going to add configuration. Next one enable app security. Enable app security extends app security configure adapter. App security configure adapter. Configure adapter. App security configure adapter. Now I'm going to create one service. Service is the interface. Dot service. That service name is the login service. Same thing I'm going to write one more class is the implementation class. Login service IMPL. Implements login service. Our system knows this is the service. Service transactional. Now I'm going to Spring Security configuration. Here I'll take that auto white private login service. Login service. Here I mention service in login service IMPL. Here login service interface I'm configure. I'm writing auto white. Now I'm going to write what are the methods required to perform Spring Security. First method I'm going to write password. I'm storing in encryption format. That's why I'm writing password encoder. Return new bkept password encoder. This is convert as your passcode into bkept format. @b. Next method I'm going to write public void configure authentication. The method name. Here I'm passing authentication manager bin. Authentication manager manager builder, manager builder, authentication manager builder. I'm writing here throws exception. I mention here at the rate auto while this authentication manager, authentication manager builder dot user detail service, user detail service. I'm passing here this dot login service dot password and encoder. What's going on? User detail service, correct? User detail service dot user detail service. Oh, in login service, I need to write extend user detail service, user detail service. Here login service IMP need to write. After I need to write logic here. User detail service this dot login service dot password encoder. I'm going to call this method here. Next I'm going to write one more method, public authentication manager. Authentication manager. Authentication manager. This one also that throws exception. This I'm writing at the rate B and at the rate override. Here return super dot authentication manager bin. Now I am going to write my final method, configure method in security configuration. Public return type is the void configure http security http security http security. Here I mention at the rate auto void, no, at the rate override. Here I am going to write http security dot authorize request dot and matches. If started users is content as role user. Same thing dot and matches slash admin started slash admin dot as role as any role as any role not as role as any role as any role here admin if dot and matches slash super admin slash double star dot as any role super admin. This means if any URL started slash user slash maybe any other after started user that role is user user only can access slash users admin only can access slash admin super admin only can access slash super admin. Next I am going to add dot and dot and form login. Now I am going to design my login page dot login page URL is slash login dot login process URL. If I login page, I write one action URL. That URL, if I enter what exactly URL given here, same thing I will give there. It will automatically configure the Spring security. That purpose I am placing here login hyphen process username parameter. I am writing username parameter. Whatever name I given there, same name I need to place mention here also. And take that name is email. Next password parameter. Password. If success URL. If success URL, each method I need to call. I'll give default success URL. Default success URL. I'll give redirect dashboards. Redirect dashboard. If failure, if user enter wrong username password, that time each URL need to call failure URL. I am writing login failure. Next, I am going to write one more and now I am going to write logout functionality. If user successfully login, if I click logout, each method I need to call that logout URL. Logout URL. I'm going to call slash logout. If logout success URL. If I click on login logout button, each method need to call logout success URL. That one I am going to give logout success. Logout success is my method name. If any access denied exception, how to handle, and dot exception handling dot access denied handler. If access denied access denied page, I am going to give access denied. This is the method name. If access denied, each page I need to redirect. Each method I need to call access denied. So now I am going to write throws exception. So security configuration done. One more time I may explain this configuration. If HTTP authorizes request, if any after login based on role, I need to redirect that URLs. If any URL start slash users, that is role is related to users. If slash admins, that is related to admin. If I'm logging as a user, but I try to access slash admin slash dashboard something, it will showing access denied. Same thing super admin. Super admin can URL start it super admin slash dashboard, super admin slash create users like this. If super admin, sometimes if user super admin also can access users also, slash here you need to place super admin also. Now it treat as a slash users can access users also as well as super admin also. Next I'm going to form login. Each URL you need to redirect to the login page. That login page URL is the slash login. After login processing URL, if I click on submit login page, each URL need to call login process. What are the parameters? I am not writing any external method login process. It internally Spring security it will take care. That's why I'm passing parameters, user parameter and password parameter. Once that is the username, password, everything correct, I need to redirect to success page. That success page I am going to redirect dashboard. If user enters wrong username, password, each method I need to call login failure method. Same thing user login. If I click on logout, that logout functionality, which method I need to call. If you login user, I am passing logout. If I click on logout here, so logout success URL, logout success URL. If you log in and click on logout, that each method I need to call success your logout success URL. I am using logout success. After finally I am adding exception handling, and if I use I'm logging as admin, but I'm trying to access slash user slash. It's showing to the active denied page. So now I'm going to perform my login control functionality. Before login control functionality, I need to write before I'm going to implement my login service IMPL functionality. Here I'm going to write my login service IMPL functionality. In login service, I am implemented user detail service. This is the ping security method. If we go to user detail service, here one method is there, user detail load by username. If I am going to write my custom logic, I am going to write my custom logic based on that one I am redirecting I'll check that username password is correct and each authentication I need to provide that user. What is authentication and authorization? Authentication means if user enter correct password and email, if that is successfully login, that user is a authentication purpose. And authorization means user. What are the roles he can access? If I log in as a username and password, that person each role it will be applicable. Authentication means if user enter correct username and password, that user is the authentication. Authorization means that particular user, if login user, what are the access he can allow? What are the access? Maybe user login. What are the operation performance? What are the access is applicable to particular user? It defines as a authorization. So now I am going to write my custom login functionality here. Before I am going to implement my login service, I am going to create login repository. I am going to write one user repository. User repository. Our system knows this is the repository. I mentioned at the rate repository and extends. This is not a class, this is the interface. Extends cut repository. Here I mention my poso name. Poso name is nothing but a user, but in Spring Security by default user is there. That's why my class name I'm changed to user info. I need to avoid the confusion purpose that I'm changing my user poso class to user info. Here I'll give user info. Here ID is the primary key. In user info, my primary key primary key type is the long. Here I mention long, that's why I mention long there. If I mention string here, I will mention string here. So now my repository also ready. Now I am going to mention here at the rate auto void private user repository. User repository. User info. User info. User info equal to user repository. User repository dot find email ignore case. I'm passing username here. This is the I'm creating here username find email ignore case. Ignore case means if we enter email in uppercase or lowercase, it will take. But find email ignore case. Now if based on username, based on username anything is there, it will be work. Now I am passing one more parameter here. If user is enabled or not. That purpose I am writing true here. If only enable, that person only need to come. That's why I am passing two parameters. Enable. Now I am writing query @query select you from user info as you where u dot email equal to question 1 and u dot enabled equal to question 2. What is the question 1 and question 2 means? Question 1 means it will take as a first parameter, question 2 as a take as a second parameter. If you don't want place this one, you can place named parameters. This is the query parameters. So I am passing question 1 means that username it will come here, enable it will come here. If you want, you can place named parameters also. That time you can write @param here. That name, whatever param name you given, that name you need to give here. If user is enabled and username, whatever email is correct, it will come here. If user info equal to null, for suppose that user is not available, whatever email you enter, that email is not available in database, it will return null. That time I am handling exception through new username not found exception, user not found, username not found. For I'm passing here username. If user is available, now I'm going to write my guarantee authentication. Guaranteed authority equal to new simple guarantee authority. I'm passing role here, role hyphen slash user dot get role, user info dot get role. Next I'm taking user details. User detail, this class is available in Spring Security. User details. New user. This user is available in Spring Security. That's why I'm changing to user info, my Pojo class. Here check that user code security user details. It contains 3 parameters. This is the Spring Security user details. This contains username, password and authorities. Guaranteed authorities I need to pass. That's why I'm passing 3 parameters here. First parameter is the user name means email ID, user info dot get email. Second one, user dot get password user info dot get password. Third one I need to pass authority arrays dot as list. I'm passing here authority. I'm typecasting here because of this the user particular, but I'm typecasting here user details. Finally I'm written that user details. So I'm checking based on that email and enable. I'm checking that user info is there. I'm providing that user to authorities. Get authority I'm providing here. I'm passing that user object. Now I'm going to login controller. Here I'm writing at the rate get mapping. In control I'm writing value equal to slash. Here I'm writing redirect slash login security configuration not ambient login. Login. Now I'm going to write one more method public string login page. Here I'm writing at the rate get mapping value equal to login return. I'm writing here my HTML page u dot login. So now u is the folder, login is the my HTML page. Now I'm going to create one folder in resources. Resources inside templates I am going to create one folder. That folder is the u. Inside u I am going to add HTML class. The HTML class is login. Now UI purpose I am using Temilif. If how system knows this HTML perform Temilif tags. That purpose I need to add one line in header. That HTML line. Here I'm going to add one line. Go to Google. Temilif HTML template tag. Just to type HTML template tag. Go to Temilif tutorial. Go to the tutorial. You go. Just to check that HTML tag. Here is this line I need to add in my HTML page. If we add this line, it will support that Temilif tags in your HTML page. Now I am going to add bootstrap functionality and design bootstrap login page. So that purpose I am going to add bootstrap min.css and bootstrap min.js file. So that purpose I am going to search. I am not design anything, that one just I am taking as a just one type of login page. So first I am going to add bootstrap. I am going to add this line. This is the CSS. I am adding bootstrap 4. Inside header I am adding. I don't want this integrate everything. Here is using 4.0.0 but I am using 4.1.3. That purpose I will change version. I am using 4.1.3. Now same thing I am going to add bootstrap min.js also. Last one bootstrap min.js. Inside body I am adding. Same thing I need to remove integrity everything. Here also I am going to change. I am using 4.1.3. Now I am going to add jQuery. jQuery also required. That purpose I am going to add jQuery. Same thing I am going to Google. I will search jQuery. As a Google API. Google API I am using as a Google API. This is a Google CDN. This one I am using. So now I am going to design form. Now I am going to design login form. Div class is equal to container fluid content fluid. Next I am going to add div class equal to row. Inside I am going to div class equal to call dot hyphen md hyphen 12. I'll take one h2 login form. Now I'm going to write here form. I'm going to search in Google on login. Bootstrap 4. Okay, I'm going to write form I am writing. Here I will take div class. I am take form group. Form group. Inside form group I am take as a input type equal to text, name equal to email. Whatever name you given here, that string security username parameter must be same. So name and id equal to email, class equal to form hyphen control equal to control and placeholder equal to email. Same thing I will take password also. Input type is equal to password, name equal to same thing, name equal to password. Whatever name I am given here, same name I need to give here also. Here id, password, form controller. Here I am placing password. Finally I am going to take one button, that is a submit button. Button type is equal to submit and class is equal to button, button hyphen primary. Here I mention login. So my login form is ready. Now I am going to add my form action. So I am going to add form action here. So form action URL, that what exactly URL I am given, same action name also I will give. Here login process URL, what URL I given here, same URL I need to give in my form also. Form login.html method I will give post method. I give post method. Next I given id equal to login form. Name also I will give same thing, login form. Now I am going to write action, th colon action. This is the temp template tag slash what name I given here, same name. I'll copy paste here, non volatile volatile. Here I will required equal to required, required equal to required. Now that login form is ready. If I click on submit, it will come login process. If you check, I am not writing any login process in my controller. That Spring Security will take care that in login process. Once that internet checking everything after redirecting, if user enter wrong username password, it's redirecting to login failure method. It's redirecting to login failure method. So now I am going to create login failure. I'm going to write login failure. If login failure, I will display one message model 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 dot add attribute. I'm writing here success error message. Error message. I'll enter here. I'll enter here invalid email and password. Invalid username and password. Now this message I need to display in my login.html. So I am using bootstrap alert messages. Bootstrap for alerts. Bootstrap for alerts I am using. Take this one. I'm going to HTML page and placing here. Here I will check if condition th colon if equal to dollar error message. This is the success, but this is the error. That's why I'm changing danger. Alter danger if error message. I'll remove this all things. I'm going to write th colon text equal to dollar and place error message here. This is the error. For suppose success, I'm writing success message. Success message. Now I'm placing here success. For success and error message purpose, I'm entering two things. So now if user enter username password wrong, it calling to the login failure. If user enter correct username password, user enter correct email and password, now it's redirecting to redirect dashboard. That purpose I am going to create one more controller. Redirect controller. Redirect dashboard controller. I mention here @controller. Now I am going to write one method public string redirect dashboard @get mapping value equal to redirect dashboard. This URL and this URL must be same. Same thing. This URL and this URL must be same. Now I am going to write my original logic here. If user login, each dashboard I need to redirect. That's why I am placing here redirect dashboard controller. If I enter user, I have entered user login as a user role. I need to redirect as a user dashboard. If I login as a admin role, I need to redirect as a admin dashboard. Same thing if I redirect as a super admin dashboard. That's why I'm going to write that logic in redirect controller. Now I'm going to take principal principal model. This principal also it is available in security. Now I'm taking at the rate auto while I'm going to create one service, that is a user service, and service IMPL also. I'm going to take one interface. That interface is the user service. Next I'm going to create one more is user service IMPL. That is the class user service IMPL. I'm taking implements user service. I'll mention here at the rate service at the rate transactional. The rate transactional. Now I'm going to redirect. I'm take redirect controller. I'm taking user service here. User service. I'm going to take user info. User info equal to user service dot find by email. I'm passing principal dot get name. Principal dot get name means whoever is login, that email ID it will come here. I'm login as a email ID. That's why email ID is coming here. Same thing I will take here at the rate auto while private user repository. User repository. User repository dot find email ignore case email true. Next, if user not equal to null, if user info not equal to null and string utils dot as text. I'm checking user info dot get role also not equal to null or not empty. Now I'm going to check that role equal to if user info dot get role dot equals ignore case. If equal to ignore case, user, I need to redirect one page. Same thing, user, ignore case, admin. I need to redirect to another page. Third one, super admin. I need to redirect to another page. Okay. Now I am going to create three controllers. One for user control, another for the admin control, another for the super admin controller. So that purpose I am going to create one more controller, that is the user controller. First I am going to create user controller. I am going to create user controller. That user controller at the rate controller, that request mapping start with user. Request mapping value equal to slash user. If it will start user, that role is the user. I'll place not user. It's okay, users. If start with users, that is the user controller. After I'm going to create one method, string user dashboard. Here I'll take model. Same thing, user info I'll take here. User info. Here also I'll take principal. At the rate auto private user service dot find by email principal dot get name. Now and take model dot add attribute user info. I'm right at written user dashboard. Now I'm going to create user dashboard.html inside html user dashboard.html. Same thing, I'll copy paste login. Copy paste. I'll change title user dashboard. Here I will change everything. This all things I will remove. In H2 only I mention welcome span th colon text equal to user dot first name user dot last name to user dashboard. Now I am going to create same thing admin controller class. Here I am take admin controller. Same thing I'll add these two lines. I'll place admin. Same everything same. I'll copy paste here. Here just I mention at the rate get mapping value equal to dashboard. Dashboard. Same thing I'll change here. Dashboard. Here I'm changed to admin dashboard. Same thing I'll go to create admin dashboard. Same thing I'll copy paste from user dashboard to admin dashboard. Here I'm changing to admin dashboard. Welcome everything correct. Here I mention admin. Next I'm going to create super admin controller. Super admin controller. Same thing I'll copy here. I'll paste here. Here I mention super admin. Here I'll mention super admin. Same thing I'll copy paste. Here I'm writing super admin dashboard. I'm going to HTML. I mention .html. Here same thing I'll copy paste. Here I'll change super admin dashboard. Here I mention super admin dashboard. Now I'm going to redirect controller. If that is the user, return redirect colon user slash dashboard. Same thing admin. Same thing super admin. If anything wrong, it will redirect to the login page. Redirect again, login. Now everything done. Now I am going to run. I will check. I enter correct username password and I will enter wrong username password. Next, finally, I am going to write one last method, that is the access denied. After I am going to add logout, that functionality I will tell. Here I am going to write Spring security configuration, that is the access denied. Access denied. Access denied. Here I mention access denied. Access denied. Now I am going to run my application. I will check. My server is successfully running. Localhost 8080. This is my login form. In enter location 713. Password 123456. Internet server error. Spring adapter and delegation in configure. Configuration. HTTP Spring security adapter. jQuery create login service, password encoder, authentication manager, user detail, service, password encoder correct, authentication manager, Jupyter authentication manager being correct, HTTP security authorized request and matches users admin okay, login process, login process, username parameter, password parameter, default success URL, login failure, exception handling, access incorrect. HTML login process correct. Now I'm going to run again. I will check why it's not running. Why it's not. Yes, server is running. Now I'm going to check. Okay, so now okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same error. I'm going to check one more time. Bean factory auto configure. Oh, this line is not required. This line is only purpose if auto login. You are using username password token filter. That time it's required. Now, as of now, it's not required. That's why it's showing it's not working. So I comment this one after I'm perform auto login functionality. That time I need to enable this one. That purpose I'm going to comment this one. If you are not using auto login functionality, if you don't want, no need to add this line. Again, server is restarting. Now again my server is running. Now I'm going to check. Check now it's working. So please comment this line until if you perform auto login functionality. That time you need to enable this one. Up to that time, no need to add this one. Now I'm going to add logout button. Now I'm going to logout button. After I'm clicking logout button, I need to call this method logout success. Again, I will write to the login page. So I'm going to my HTML page, user dashboard. Here I'm adding th colon ref href equal to at the rate slash inspect security. What again? Logout functional logout URL I'm calling logout class I'm taking button hyphen primary and place logout here. Same thing I will copy paste in all places. Super admin dashboard and admin dashboard also. Now I'm going to write logout success method in logout control login controller. Here I'm going to write logout functionality logout success. Here I'm writing success message logout successfully. Now I'm going to show that final demo of login. After I'm going to perform auto login functionality. So service started. Now I'm going to log in one by one. First time locate 713 the admin. If I log in as a locate 713, it's rewriting to admin dashboard page. Yes, welcome to admin dashboard. If I click logout, second logout URL, logout URL, logout, then logout until logout success. Logout success. Logout second admin. Logout from the href. If I click logout, it will come. Here also see admin dashboard. I'm checking. Logout. I'm going to restart. Maybe it will not refreshing. My server is running. I'm checking. Logout URL. This is the logout URL. So logout URL I'm going to place logout here. Now it's logout. Again I am going to log in. Again it's coming to the dashboard. Again log out. Now I am going to log in as a user test @ gmail.com. Now it's coming the user dashboard. Same thing now I'm going to add user @ security is the super admin. User @ is the super admin. If I log in, you need to go to super admin dashboard. Check it's coming. Now single login page. It's working. 3 URLs. Now I'm going to perform auto login functionality. Before I perform auto login functionality, if user enter wrong password or wrong email, how I need to identification, how I need to write this email and password in my login method, login failure method. If user enter @gmail.com or something, if I click here, it displaying involve email or password, but I need to find email ID and password in failure method. Here I need to read that email and password. How to read? How this is the internet calling to this ping security. After it is failure is redirected directly here. But how I need to read here email and password? I am going to show that one. I will show you that one how to handle that one. You need to write one extra method for the failure authentication. I am going to show you that one. That purpose I need to create one custom I'm writing one extra class for that one. So I'm going to create that class. I'm taking authentication failure URL handle failure URL handler. I'm taking this method. I mention @ component. Here one Spring security interface is there. Implements application listener. Here I am passing to event authentication failure bad credentials event. Authentication failure bad credential event. In this one method is there, that is on application event. On application event. Here I am take one servlet context @auto private servlet context. Here I mention context. Now I am going to read username password here. How to read that username password here is written as always object and taking email equal to event dot get authenticate authentication dot get principal it will written as a username. Next, object password equal to event dot get authentication dot get credentials. Now these two I'm placing as a context dot set attribute email. I'm passing email. Next, context dot set attribute password. Now I'm going to login controller. I need to read here. So here also I'm placing @ private servlet context. Now I'm going to read that too. I'm going to read here string email equal to, I'm doing typecasting string context dot get attribute, because of that is object I'm connecting to string. I'm like set attribute, I'm given email. Whatever name you given here, same name need to give there. Same thing I will take password also. Here I am pasting password. Here just I am printing password. Now that username password whatever I enter here I will fill. If you want anything perform operations here, for suppose email ID is correct, password is wrong, you need to customize your message. Invalid email. If you enter email wrong, if so invalid email. If user enter correct email and password wrong, you can place here, check that database and you email is correct and password is wrong, you just display message invalid password. If username password both are correct but that enable is user is disabled, that time you can display your that purpose. I'm reading here, I'm displaying. If you want any additional operation you can perform, you can write logic here. Just time explain here what this authentication listener, authentication failure bad credentials. Whatever credentials you enter here, that credential is coming. If you fail also, you can access that email password. That purpose, that method I am showing here. If you want any additional functionality, you can perform any additional logic. For suppose your custom message you need to display invalid password only, invalid email only. User is disabled. Like that message you can display. You can use this method authentication failure bad credentials is written email and password. That based on your in failure controller in login failure you can handle that messages. Just I'm displaying in console. My server is running. Now I am enter wrong email and password. Check here it will display whatever I am enter. Here displaying. Check that email password is coming whatever I am enter. Any additional functionality you can perform in login failure method, you can perform based on that email and password. Now I am going to show you my final step, auto login. So auto login is nothing but if user is registered, no need to ask again login page. Directly need to redirect to the dashboard page. How to handle that functionality to Spring Security, I will show next step. So now I am going to create registration page. In registration page, I will take first name, last name, email, password and phone number. If any user register, I'll take as a just like as a user. If you want different roles, you can press drop down. Based on that, you can redirect. Now I am going to add registration page. So I am going to create one controller, registration controller. At the rate controller. Here I will take one method public string registration page. I take model. I take model dot add attribute. I'll take one user object here. User new user info. I take one empty object. User empty object. Return you registration. At the rate get mapping value equal to registration. Now I am going to login page. I will add one extra login.html. Just I am writing one extra here. A href is equal to th:\ref is equal to slash registration new user style float right. Registration. Now I am going to create registration HTML. HTML I am going to create dot HTML. Just I am using login page only. I copy paste that login same. After I am adding some additional fields. Here I will take one object th object. The th object is a model whatever I am placing, that one I am placing here. I am placing user there. This name and that name must be same. User I am placing. Now I am going to add one field. First field is the first name. I am taking. Just I am changing placeholder. Here name. First name. First name. I am using temilif tags. th::field field field equal to star first name. This user dot first name it will consider this object dot field name I am passing. Whatever in user info class, this name that field name must be same. User dot first name. Next I am going to take same thing last name. Last name. This one last name. Last name. Same thing email password done. Finally I am going to write phone number. Phone number. Phone number. Same thing I'll place th field here email. Here password. Here phone number. Finally for purpose role also I am taking here. I will take select class is equal to form control. Name equal to role. ID equal to role. And I'll take this two. I am placing here role. I'll take option value equal to empty. Select role. First one user. Second one admin. Third one super admin. Now I am going to change register process. Here I am just change login. Here I am change sign up. So my sign up form also ready. Now I am going to write registration process. Now I am going to registration controller. I am going to write registration process. I will take this one only. Just I am adding. This is the post mapping. Just I am change post mapping. Here I am take @ model attribute. not manage attribute, that is the model attribute. User info. Now I am going to write the logic. First I am going to save. After I am going to perform auto login functionality. Before I am changing to that password is in encrypt format. User info dot set password string. I am take password equal to, I am writing on password util. I am take one util package. In that package I am writing password util. I am take password util dot util package. I move to that util package. In that util package I am going to perform here static decryption password encoder. Password encoder will take equal to new descript password encoder. After I am going to create one method, that is a static method. I will create static method return type string get password has string. I am passing my password. Return password encoder dot encode. I am passing password. Now here I am taking as a auto while private user service. I remove here this one directly. I am calling user service. In user service I will implement that one user equal user service dot save user info. In control I am not writing any logic. In service I am going to implement now I am going to here I will change password encrypt format string password equal to password util dot get password user info dot get password. Next I am going to set that one user info dot set password. Next I am going to set enable dot set enable to user info dot set created date equal to new date. Finally, I am going to save that record. Now I am going to controller. I need to implement controller logic here. That is the auto login functionality. For auto login functionality, I am going to create one service. I'm going to create one service, that is the security service. I'm going to create one interface, that is the security service. Same thing I'm going to implement security service IMPL. Implements security service. Here I mention at the rate service, at the rate transactional. Now I'm going to write my logic in controller. I will take here at the rate auto y private security service. Security service. I'm going to write that one. Before, one small change is required because of I'm changing that password into encrypt format. That purpose here only I will take that password in user info dot get password. Because of if I change that encrypt format, I need to auto configuration purpose. I need to original password. Without encrypting that whatever user enter in registration time password, that password I require. That's why I'm taking it user info get password. In DB user it will come a encrypted password. So that purpose I'm taking a string password is equal to user info dot password. Next I'm going to if DB user not equal to null. DB user not equal to null. I'm going to call that security service. I'll create one method auto login. Auto login. Here I am taking user info dot get email and I am passing password, comma. I am taking here HTTP servlet request. That request I am passing here. The return type is the what? Now I am going to security service IMPL. Here I am going to write auto login functionality. First I am taking user details. User details. User details is equal to user details. I am taking here at the rate auto y. First one I am taking Authentication Manager. This purpose I need to enable that one. After I will enable Authentication Manager, I am taking Authentication Manager. Next one is Authentication Manager purpose. I need to enable this one, authenticate be in Authentication Manager. If you not if you're not using any auto login functionality, no need to write this line, this one. After I will enable that one, first I am going to implement my security service logic. Private, next user detail service, user detail service detail. These all are the Spring Security predefined methods. User detail service. Okay. Now user detail service dot load by username. I'm passing email ID. So user details is coming. Next I'm going to take authentication. Next I'm going to take authentication. Authentication. Authentication is equal to Authentication Manager. Authentication Manager dot authenticate. Here new user username password authentication token. Here I am passing email password. One more is in user password authentication token. I am passing three parameters. One is the email, another one is the password, another one is user details dot get authorities. Three parameters I am passing. Next, security context holder. Security context holder. Security context holder dot get context dot set authentication. I'm passing authentication. Next, final one, request dot get session dot set attribute. In HTTP session security, HTTP session security context repository dot Spring security context key. In value security context holder dot get context. This security service I am done. Now I am going to registration controller. Now I'm performing here logic. Remaining logic, if user is admin, I need to redirect to the admin page. If user is admin dashboard. If user I need to redirect. I'm checking condition. If user info dot get role dot equals, I'm going to redirect dashboard controller. I will take these three. I will place here. If user admin like this. If it is not there, I'm redirecting to registration page. If anything wrong, I'm redirecting to again registration page. So now I'm going to enable this one. I'm enabling this one. Now I'm going to run. My server is running. Now I'm going to run. Now I'm going to check first login is working or not. One second, I'm going to check. I will disable this one. Is required, but it's not working. I will check. Authentication manager could not be found, so that is required. One more time I will type this one. If anything wrong, I will check. Public authentication manager. Correct. Authentication manager. Authentication manager bean. That method name is wrong. That's why it's not working. This is the authentication manager bean. Sorry, that is my mistake. Here authentication management. This is the override. This method is authentication manager bean. That's why the problem. This authentication manager same name need to give because of this the override. You need to give authentication manager bean. This the method name is authentication manager bean. That's why it's not working. Now I'm going to please change before I mention authentication manager. That is authentication manager bean. Now I'm going to again run. Now server is running. Now again I am going to try to log in. Now it's checking working. Because of that is the this method name is Authentication Manager. I am writing override. I am writing method name wrong. That's why it's not working. Now it's working. If I comment this one, if using auto login, that time only it's required. That purpose I am writing. Check if I comment this one. I try to log in. It's showing error. It will show error because of I'm using Authentication Manager for auto login. That purpose is internet checking that bean. Check that application failed to start. Authentication Manager Security Service IMPL required a bean type. Authentication Manager is required to Authentication Manager is checking for bean type. That purpose, auto login purpose, I am writing this bean, and also I am writing method name wrong. That time you need to Authentication Manager bean. I am writing override. That's why. Now all errors gone. Now I am going to run. Check now the server is running. Now I am going to log in another test at the Gmail. Now login functionality is working perfectly. Now I am going to create a new user. This is my login. Here I am changing registration form. Registration form. Now I am going to add Spring Security Spring @ security.com. Password I enter 123456. Mobile number I enter. I am selecting role. First I am selecting admin. If I click on sign up dashboard, it will come as a admin dashboard. Check, it's coming the admin dashboard. So same thing. If you can create one more user, it will redirect to the user dashboard. User.com. Now I am going to select user. If you click, it's coming to user dashboard. So I hope it's useful for you. In this demo, whatever I am showing, single login redirect to the 3 dashboard pages. Based on role, you need to redirect to the different dashboard pages. And if user enter email and password wrong, how to handle that email and password? You need to display custom message. If user enter email wrong, how to display email invalid email? That purpose I am writing on extra method, that is authentication failure. You are a handler. This handler is handling username and password is redirected to related to login failure. Here I am reading that too. Just I'm displaying here. If you want, you can handle custom message also. If you check call to back a database, you read that email is exist. If you check that password is wrong. If you display invalid password, if username also correct, password also wrong, correct, but user is disabled, that time you can display your user is disabled. Custom message you need to display, that purpose I am handling. If you enter user wrong password email also, you can enter that email password, that one. And finally I am showing the auto login functionality. In typing mistake I done one is the, here I am writing authentication manager, but actual method is authentication manager vim. That's why before also error is showing, but this line only purpose I am auto login purpose, that time I am using authentication manager, that purpose I am writing this bean. If you not perform any auto login functionality in your application, you are not using authentication manager, that time no need to add this bean. This is the override method, that's why method name must be same, otherwise it will not work. Method name is authentication manager beam. So I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks for my watching my video. If you like my video, please like my video. Please subscribe my channel and activate bell icon for more updates. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.